Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Off-Ramdia video, and today my boy Kelger just dropped in the game. We just got him pulled, we got him fully built up, so I think we are just now ready to go and do his character guide. If you're not familiar with Kelger, he has very powerful mechanics. He is an evade tank, and he also does powerful preemptive strikes. I think in like my pull planning and stuff, I called them traps. And that was, I'm blaming Dissidia Compendium for that because they talk about his preemptive strike and they call it traps in the description. I think it's just like the way the translations are, but it pretty much works like a trap. Like he's going to do preemptive strikes, essentially same as a trap, like the trap will pop up off turn. Either way, it's off turn damage, right? So he's going to do preemptive strikes, but then he also has dodge counter damage as well. He has a good FR that plays into that. If you get his BT, he's going to do double preemptive strikes. So we're going to kind of see what his damage looks like and see why he's so good. The big thing with a character like this, he's the type of character that can solo fights. And that's very good for like lockout content. It's going to help you save a lot of characters. It's good if you're going to do like work on your red crystal room and maybe you don't have like a large roster of red, but you want to do red crystal. He can solo like the weekly crystal fights, some of them. So that's definitely like some good things for Kelger, right? So in this video, we're going to look at his calls, his artifacts, and his spheres. And then we're going to hop in and do a little showcase on him. So let's go ahead and we're going to start with the calls here. So his calls, I think, are actually like solid-ish. The 15, not really. It's just an attack and max brave up for the caller. Nothing too crazy there. I could see some use in the LD. Because the LD is going to do brave damage up, HP damage up, brave stolen up, and brave gains up. The thing is it doesn't do it for the party. I guess that's the one thing for me, like not calling it like a godly call. But for like on an individual character, the HP damage up is 30%. And HP damage up is one of the big daddy stats you want on a call if you can get it. So for like, if you know you're running like a main DPS character that's going to operate a burst phase, this would be a good call to like throw down right before going into a burst phase to get the big HP damage up. And the brave damage up and the brave stolen up, like those are 50% and the brave gain 30. Like it's really fat and meaty. So I do see some use for the call if you're going to use it to beef up like one main DPS character, right? So then let's go ahead and look at his artifacts and his spheres. So his artifacts, you really want to focus on attack with this guy because what's going to happen is his preemptive strike, which is called first strike, I believe. Now, sometimes the translations are different than what they actually call it in game, but we'll just call it his preemptive attack. It scales very heavily or gets brave gains. So it's going to do a gravity scaled on his attack and then brave gains scaled on his attack. So like attack is really, really important for making the follow-up or the preemptive damage look really good. So you really want as much attack on him as possible. So the best one to give him is attack 108, Lord of the Werewolves up 2-star. So you're getting double attack passives on that. And then max brave, which is probably his second best stat, you're getting that as well. So that's really what you want to give him for the artifact. So do 3 of those if you can. I do have an attack 108 max brave 330 because I didn't get 3 of them quite yet. But that's a good substitute if you can't get 3 of them right away. But that's what I got there. And then we're going to go to spheres. Now, spheres, there's a lot of options you can go. But there's a couple that I would say are like best in slot on him. If you're focusing on attack, which I definitely want to focus on attack with him. So I think his best A slot is 8. 100%. Because 8 is giving 20% attack up, which is like, I think the highest attack up you can get on a sphere. And it's for evading, which is like Kelger's specialty. He is going to be dodging like crazy. I think this is the best character in the game to take on 8's sphere. So definitely if you have one of those laying around, do it. If it was stackable, I would stack 2, but it is not stackable. Okay. Now for the second slot, you're going to have more options for that. I just threw Cater down here as an option because it is another evade sphere. There's a good chance you might just have that sitting around because not a lot of characters use evade spheres. It's going to be 10% attack and eye brave. Mine is not the full sphere. That's why you're seeing the lower numbers there. But I might do something like Yang. I think Yang is one that I was going to go in because it's on crit damage and it's attack max brave. It's a really nice one. I think Sephiroth, like the attack max brave combos, I think would be really good. Kelger's also physical, so you could do something like a Raijin. I think Raijin could work really well also. But just keep in mind, if you give him like physical damage up, that won't affect the gains on the first strike. That scales off of the attack stat. So I would actually prioritize attack stat over like physical or melee damage up. So I probably would go with something like maybe a Sephiroth or like a Yang. I think those could be very good. I'm pretty sure, I think Noel maybe has a 15% attack up. So yeah, you're just going to have to look through yours, but I would get the highest percent attack gains you can that Kelger can trigger. On the B slot, I think Snow is best in slot because it's the best attack up that he can trigger. Snow, if you get a full one, is going to be a 10% while he's targeted. And any lock character can constantly trigger Snow Sphere. So I think Snow's going to be best in slot there. So if you got it, definitely want to get Snow. All right, so with that, I think we're ready. I've got everything equipped. We kind of did things really fast tonight, right? Shout out to everybody watching me live tonight. About 130 people here right now. But yeah, I think we've got everything on. The one thing that I guess I want to bring up that somebody said I should point out is if you're using Kelger in like an off-turn defensive way, right? So like if you're trying to solo or you're running a defense comp, which is what I'm going to do in this video, you want to actually slow the character down, right? So if you go into their passives, right? So if we go into the passive abilities down here, and you go into like the level and STR passives, what most people recommend is you go in here and you take off any speed passives. So if you want to go in and take off anything that gives him speed to slow him down, you definitely could do that. And this is general advice for like most tank characters, that you can do that. Now, I personally don't like I don't like the feeling of making my characters like weaker, so to speak, even though lowering the speed helps him. And I don't like taking off passive, so I'm just going to leave them on mine. But if you really want to optimize, most people would recommend you take the speed passives off. The other thing I got to talk about before we go into the showcase, my red crystal room is completely done, and Kelger's red. So he's getting all the crystal room buffs, and we're getting crystal passives. Now, and this might be something I have to start adding to character guides, is crystal passives, because I get people ask me about this all the time, like which one should I equip? So if you're going to run Kelger in a defensive comp, I highly recommend you put on D3 and D6. The reason why is these are things that are going to lower his turn rate and slow him down while giving you a positive buff, right? So D3 is going to reduce the brave damage and HP damage you take, and it lowers the turn rate of all your red characters. D6 is going to make it so you can overheal your HP by 20%, and it lowers speed. Now, for the third one, you can kind of pick whatever you want. One that I've really liked is Crystal Passive U1. It gives you just a permanent gold frame buff that gives you attack and brave HP regen up, which is really good. So, but there's a lot of good passives in here. I would just suggest going in and reading them. They're going to change depending on the team comp, but we are going to run the defense passives here for Kelger. So, to showcase this ridiculousness, once again, this is a character like Rubicante where like, they're probably going to be looking pretty good on a solo, but because I'm kind of like a red crystal specialist, right? I got my red crystal room done. I feel like this team of Kelger, Beatrix, and Reno is going to be absolutely nutty and insane. Beatrix also does off-turn damage. Reno is going to actually delay the party members to slow us down even more. So I think this is going to be pretty good. So let's go and hop in. We're going to hop into this very aggressive Ultimecia fight. I don't know that I need a friend unit. I guess for force charging we would, huh? So let's go ahead and here, Faust is watching me live right now. Faust, we'll grab your selfie since you're watching me live right now. And then we're going to go ahead and hop in with that. And then what we'll do is we'll kind of just go through and look at all of his skills. And actually, you know what, with Kelger, here's what I think I'm going to do, actually. I think I'm just going to go in with a burst phase on him so I can just talk through all the skills. Because then ideally, we're going to be going really slow, right? So notice Kelger had 100% evasion there. Oh, the Shadow Wolf looks so sick, dude. That animation was cool. All right, so 500k, right? Not crazy damage, but that's kind of how these off-turn characters work. You can see Beatrix also did the same thing. Let me talk about his overhead. So he's got, I love his overhead too. It's like the pixel art icon from Final Fantasy V. That is so awesome. So this overhead is called Werewolf Pride. He gets it at the start for, like 6 turns? He can refresh it on the LD for 12 turns. This overhead is important. You don't want it to fall off. It's going to give him a brave damage up, HP damage up, brave gains up, and brave stolen up. But it triggers his Shadow Wolf when he evades. So this is what gives him the evade counters. So you want to make sure you don't lose that, right? What I'm going to do is, sure, we'll do this Protect All. This is going to be a party attack up, HP damage taken minus 40%. And brave damage limit up. Dude, HP damage taken minus 40% is kind of crazy. The other thing I should talk about with Kelger is Pairing him with... Oh, I forgot to organize his skills. Oh my god, this is a nightmare. That's fine. We'll navigate somehow, but I forgot to I knew I forgot something. That's okay. His skills are way out of order. That's okay, though. But Gladio, what's really nice is Gladio's call can make it so Kelger, like, is unkillable with this LD call. It'll reduce the, like, Brave and HP damage by 100%. Makes it so he can't be debuffed. Now, you might be thinking... With a character with 100% evasion, why is that important? Well, it's because that many bosses will at least have one powerful attack in their kit that can't be evaded. And if that really powerful attack either kills Kelger or puts on a really nasty debuff, it could be devastating to the run. So having Gladio Call just as an option with Kelger is just a really nice safety net so that you know if you've got a really nasty attack coming that he's going to survive that. So let's go ahead with Kelger. We're going to just go into burst phase here with this very gross assortment of skills. The way these are organized is terrible. And we're just going to kind of ride through the kit, right? So let's go ahead and do his 15, which is called Impact Cut. And this is without other BT auras. Dude, 1.5 mil for that? That's pretty good. It's pretty good damage for him. It's going to go up. Well, once again, this is a highly buffed Kelger, right? Like, we're full crystal room, everything. But we don't have the other BT effects up yet, so we'll keep that in mind. But he gets a buff called Final Will of the Dawn for 6 turn when he presses this. This is an attack up and a max brave up. This gives him first strike before enemy turns. So the reason why I think Dissidia Compendium was calling it a trap is because it kind of acts like a trap, right? So it's a preemptive strike, but it goes before the enemy's attack. So it really does act like a trap. So when I call it a trap, it's not really inaccurate. It's just a trap is normally like a red debuff with a certain symbol. It's kind of like a trap without being a debuff. It's kind of what it is, right? So it's very good. And his BT is going to end up making this trigger twice. So that's the 15. Let's do the 35, which is Tri-Element. Okay, 700k, so not the craziest damage there, but that's okay because he's off turn. So it's an AoE attack. It's funny because it's called Tri-Element, but it's actually non-elemental. And then he gives that same buff. So it's just an AoE. So honestly, the 15 and 35, they're just filler buttons. And depending on the fight, you might not even need to press them that much. It's pretty much just to upkeep that buff and then just to do something if you don't want to press another button. It's pretty much what those are. Then let's go ahead and hit the EX, which is called Wolf's Gale. Alright, so about a mil AoE, so it's just like solid normal EX damage. We'll take that. So this gives him the Swift Wolf buff. So the Swift Wolf buff is attack, max brave, and overflow up, HP damage up, and then this is what gives him the 100% evasion, and it gives him lock as an aura, which is really awesome. So the enemies now are locked onto him, and it's not a debuff on the enemies. Most lock abilities is you put a lock debuff on the enemy. This is an aura, which means the enemies can't cancel it or get rid of it. So if the enemy is not doing an all attack, they have to attack Kelger, and he's 100% evading. So that's really, really nasty. So the EX, it is very important you're hitting that when it's up, because you need to upkeep the Swift Wolf. It is 6 turns, so he gets it 4 turns at the start, but then it's 6 turns when you refresh it with the EX. You got to make sure you keep that upkept. Then we'll do the LD, which is called Requiem Slash. All right, and about a mil AoE, that's actually a little bit under, what you'd expect from an LD, but that's okay. Once again, we're going to see the good stuff with the off turn. That's where this guy's going to shine. He does get a free ability use on his next turn with that. This does upkeep the overhead, so you can see that awesome wolf icon now is at 12 turns instead of 6. And then this gives him the evade counters, and then the evade counters are going to brave gain scaled on attack and then deal damage to the enemies, which is very good. And then we just have to show the FR, which is Swallow Smash. So we're going to go and pop this off. Okay, about 1.7 mil. I'd say that's average-ish damage. Usually you're in like the 1.5 to 2 mil range on an FR attack, so that's fine. And then, because, I normally you would want to use the EX first or LD to get the free skill use, we'll just do an HP attack, that's fine. Dude, even his normal HP attack animation is kind of cool. All right, and then we're going to do the BT, which is Loon Pine Attack. Now, this BT is going to be pretty good. In the FR, we'll talk about the HP conditions and stuff a little bit later when we actually use it. Dude, his animations are super cool. Love that. That looked like about a mil AoE, so fine. Normalish damage on the BT. All right, so let's talk about what the BT does. I just want to see, is Ultimisia going to go crazy on me? Not yet. Okay. So the BT did a big AoE attack there. So it's a 6-turn burst effect. What happens is his first strike preemptive attack will trigger twice. Remember, this happens on enemy turns. He's going to come in and swing before they take their turn. It's very similar to like kind of how Cores is. Brave damage up, brave damage limit up, HP damage up, HP damage limit up. It's literally, that's the normal BT buffs. But then he gets it so that his preemptive goes off twice. Is all that we're really getting there. Beatrix now, what we're going to do with you is, yeah, we're just going to get BT effects up like instantly here. Just so we can see everything kind of at their best. And then we're going to get Reno's BT effect up so we can start delaying the party, which that's going to be really awesome. And you can see enemies already have some turns lined up. So we're about to see some shenanigans here. And Reno's actually pyramid combos really well with Kelger, right? Because even though Kelger's evade tanking himself, the all attacks will still hit the rest of your party. And if there's a non-evadable attack, Reno's pyramid can help protect Kelger. So it is a really nice combo. So what I'm going to do with Reno is we're going to grab Selfie quick and we're going to force charge. We need to wall up. Get all those walls going. And then that's all I've got for force charging. That's the one thing with this team comp is you don't have built-in force charging, but that's fine. Typically, because like you'll build up as the enemies attack you. Okay. Perfect. And we just want to get back to Reno. Nice. And then we're going to go ahead and drop down Reno's BT, Neo Pyramid. And then on Reno's turn, he's going to be dropping the HP plus, which is going to delay us a lot, which is awesome. And you can see we have very hefty HP amounts. Having a full red crystal room, like Kelger's got almost 40,000 HP. So he's going to be a tanky boy. All right, now Kelger's back up. And we're pretty close to force, actually. Oh, man, these skills are just in terrible alignment here. He's got his BT, but we'll just leave that. So, sure, we'll just go ahead and hit, like, this tri-element. Just kind of do something the past turn. We want to see the enemies kind of start to go here. So, yeah, tri-element now is over a mil, so that's good. So, that damage went up significantly. But look at the double follow-ups. Dude, and each follow-up was like a mil? Oh, my goodness. So, he just did 2 mil before her turn. And then we're going to get the counters. Yeah, now you guys are going to see how silly this is. Dude, an 800k on the counter? This is very heavy damage, dude. Look at this. 1.1, he just did like 2.3 million preemptive. Now, we don't even have like a force multiplier going yet, right? And he tried to confuse, but you know what? I'm going to dodge that out. Look at how crazy this is already getting. Like, we don't even have force going, and we're, like, already taking them out quite a bit. They're at 78% already. Now, this is an older fight, but still. Kelger is going to be the funnest thing ever. Look at him go. He's just like, yeah, I'm just going to keep going. That's fine. Now, the bad part is I don't even know, can I get to Kelger force time? Look at how far away he is. Kind of wish I actually had a Rain's call. Here's what I'm going to do for some extra safety. We're going to throw Raijin down. I'd almost say we might have to do a Reno force just to get it going, but here, let's go ahead and get Shock down. I know, I got to find a new, more modern fight that's kind of the equivalent to this. Because, yeah, you can tell that they're too squishy to show off these characters, dude. All right, go ahead. Kelger's going to dodge out. And then we got the Rose Petals, too. Man, we're not even going to be able to see the insanity. These guys are going to die too fast. Reno, I suppose we can... Well, okay, normally I would want a Turks combo, but we actually want Kelger to have a turn. I want to get the force on. So we're going to throw down Pyramid, though. This is a really great time to throw down a Pyramid. Even though I put the Raijin call down, too. We're going, like, really heavy here. It's totally fine. But look, all these turns, he's jumping in for, like, 2 mil shots. And the thing is like... His BT can last forever, provided he's not getting turns taken. So you can get a lot out of that 6-turn BT with him. He's just going to jump in and keep swinging. I would love to get to a decent force gauge to see. Now, here's the thing. We're probably not going to get as high into a force as I would like to, but you best know we're going to showcase him on his Shinryu fight later this week. We'll try to see what he can do there. I don't know if I'm going to do a solo. I know he probably will be able to solo it, but I like doing full team comps. I like playing with more characters. All right, Kelger. Here comes the FR, finally. Here it is. All right. So, Swallow Smash. We already saw the attack. Let's go ahead and talk about the conditions now. So, during his FR, his turn rate goes down 50%, so it slows him down even more. Party HP and damage limit is up 20% as well. And then anytime Kelger dodges, 50% to the gauge. Any melee is 5% even off turn, and Kelger does 10% off turn melee. So this is going to get crazy. Now, Beatrix, little anti-synergistic because she's doing magic damage, but that's fine because she's still doing really good off turn ticks. Now, I know I could do her FR, but I actually want a Thunder Slash here. This team is so good because also Beatrix helps keep the team safe. So this team covers up like Kelger's one flaw in that he's not actually protecting the rest of the team. But they can cover that with like, she has like an effect that makes it so you can't die. And then Reno's got Pyramid. Like this is just such a tightly like nice built team, right? Reno now we're going to hit up the Turks combo. Now look at this. We're going to fly off the page and it's just going to be all enemy turns. Like look at it. We can't even see our turns. All right, there's Reno finally, but look at this. All right, go ahead. So look at that, 10%. He's going to do that twice. So he's getting 20% there, and then when he dodges, he's getting 50. So here it comes. We're going to dodge that out, and we're going to get 50. So like the gains, it's auto mode, right? You guys seen me do these defense runs before. We're basically in auto mode right now, and the game is just going to go till we win. Is essentially what's going to happen. So yeah, dude, these are heavy, dude. 2.6, 2.7 million at only 200%. Like, we're not even going to be able to get to a high gauge here. Like, this is just, it's over. This fight is just over. And I love this type of team comp. I love this type of team building. Like, this is so fun. It's just ridiculous. This is my way to cheese a fight, I suppose. All right, sure, you can attack me. That's fine. Take a million turns. And yeah, the damage is just building up. Once again, Kelger's the type of character you're not going to see like a 50, 60, 70 mil shot out of him. But look at the damage over time. Because all of this is like without us taking a turn. And this damage is just free. Like I think it's impossible for us to get a turn at this point. Like we can't even see our next turn. So like you just set this up on an aggressive fight. And you're good. Now imagine this too. What's even safer is because, you know, we're relying a little bit on maybe a Pyramid or a Raijin Call. Well, the enemies can burn through that. But you know what the enemies won't burn through? Holy Knight Safeguard. So if we have Beatrix's Holy Knight Safeguard up and we line them up with a million turns, we literally can't die. And then we just sit there and they kill themselves. So here we go. We got to about 529% and then we're done. So, dude, this guy's crazy. You don't have to do this exact team setup, but this for me, I would call this like the red overkill defense comp. Like this is it. And I built red for a reason, and this is one of the reasons is I wanted to be able to do this at like full force. And man, this team's going to be really, really nasty. And this is also an example of a team where like we don't have a traditional force charging healing support. It's fine. Works out just fine. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think of this literal beast, Kelger. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.